Moorish temple is not a government, it's a religious corporation. Let's talk about it the right way. I'm gonna set the record straight tonight. Islam. Grand Sheikh and Governor Antoine Davis Bey reporting in. Let's talk about it. Bring your questions, bring your constitution, bring your thinking caps. All right, we got Abdullah Bey back. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
Okay. We gonna just jump right
Yeah, you
in.
get started.
Okay.
Yeah, jump right on in. Yes.
Islam. First of all, I want to just give high honors to this platform. Moorish Mondays to Abdullah Bey. I want to give all praise to Noble Drew. To Allah. We only praise Allah. All honors to Noble Drew Ali, the Holy Prophet. Honors to all the Grand Sheiks, all the teachers, all the Moors, whether they conscious Moors or unconscious Moors. I want to give high honors to all our brothers and sisters. So let's go ahead and address this because this keeps coming up. At this point, it's not confusion, it's willful misunderstanding. See, the claim is being made is that the Moorish temple cannot function as a government because it is a religious corporation. So let's talk about that. That sounds real good until you actually understand law, structure, and what Constitution does. So let's deal with it right away with proper reasoning and not just emotions and feelings. Okay? A religious corporation can absolutely function as a government when its constitution establishing governance, authority, offices, jurisdiction, and structure over its members. Now, this is not just an opinion. This is structure. This is how governments work. So the argument is the Moorish temple just a religious corporation? And that's not a legal argument. It's a misunderstanding of what we even looking at. So let's deal with the rules. A constitution creates the government, not the label. So just because it says Moorish Science Temple of America does not define what type of organization it is. Not what somebody calls it, not what somebody feels about it. The Constitution defines structure. The structure defines the authority, and the authority defines the government. That's the rule. A constitution tells you who has authority, what offices exist, what the duties are, how the decisions are made, who the members are, what jurisdiction exists, and how the organization operates, how leadership is structured, how discipline is enforced, and how finances are handled. So when you're looking at a constitution, you're not looking at a suggestion, you're looking at a governing blueprint. So where the problem comes in is that some people hear the word corporation and immediately shut their brain off because they think corporation just means business or something fake or something that can't govern. That's because they don't understand what a corporation is. So let me slow it down today. We're going to talk about it. A corporation is a legal body of people organized as one entity. That's it. So let's give some examples of that. Cities are corporations. Counties are corporations. Municipal governments are corporations. Churches are corporations. Universities are corporations. Non-profits are corporations. Even many government agencies operate as corporate bodies. So if your entire argument is a corporation cannot be a government, then what you really saying is you don't understand governments and you don't understand structure and law. Okay. And corporation is administrative. Constitution is governmental. Okay. And corporation is paperwork. Constitution is power. All right. So the Moorish Science Temple, specifically, the temple has a constitution, not just a pamphlet, not just something to read on Sundays, but actually a constitution. And inside that constitution are acts. And those acts define structure, authority, offices, duties, and organization. Okay, so let's break this down really simple, because it's a very simple question. And I want you to actually think about this. If an organization has a constitution, it has acts, it has offices, it has titles, members, dues, which is a treasury, meetings, records, national structure, local temples, jurisdiction over its members, defined duties and roles, then what exactly do you think this is? Because it's not a social club, okay? This is not a religious gathering. This is governing structure, okay? Now, some people say, well, it's religious, so it can't be a government. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's give some examples of historical and current religious governments that's operating right now. The Vatican is one of the best examples. The Vatican is a religious government. Okay. We can even talk about some current, like Iran. Iran is a religious government. The actual title of Iran is the Islamic Republic of Iran. Okay, that's the real name. We call it Iran. The name according to its constitution, and I brought that constitution today. We brought the Iran constitution so we can understand how constitutions define the organization. So if the Moorish Science Temple is a religious and can be a government, and that's the same thing with Iran. So religion and government have been the same structure for most of human history. The idea that we must separate is modern. That's a modern idea. It's not even universal. They don't believe that in the Middle East. They don't believe that a religion cannot be a government. Most of the top governments in the Middle East are all religious. Afghanistan is a religious government. Okay. So some people say looking at the temple like it's just a place to go, instead of understanding it's a structured body with governance. You're looking at the building instead of the Constitution. You're looking at the members instead of the Constitution. You're looking at the current grand sheiks instead of the Constitution. Okay? That's like looking at the United States and saying, well, it's just a corporation. It's not a government. Whether it's de facto or de jure, it's a government. So that means that we don't understand something. We don't understand the difference between form and function. Form is how something is registered. Function is how something operates. Now, it's no evidence of any type of registration of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Let's put that out there, number one. Is no registration of the Moorish Science Temple of America. If so, please somebody give me the filing. Give me the filing of the registration, not the recording of affidavit in the county records. Give me the registration from the Secretary of the State. That's the only way you can register any corporation. You have to register through the Secretary of the State. It's the only way you can register any organization in any state and receive a charter. Show me the charter that was issued to the Moorish Science Temple of America from the state of Illinois. It doesn't exist. So when we talk about the Constitution of the Moorish Science Temple, let's go to that. We can clearly see Acts 4 and Acts 6 of the divine constitution and bylaws. Okay, Act 4 and Act 6 establishes structure, authority, offices, and administration. Now, this ain't just no religious talk. This is organizational governance language. This is how governments are built. The real issue is whether the temple is incorporated. Pardon self. The real issue isn't whether the temple is incorporated. The real issue is whether the people understand what they are a part of. Because you cannot claim something is not a government when it clearly has all the structural elements of one. So let me give you a few more clues on that. Okay. Let's talk about nationality. Okay, not vibes, not identity crisis, not social labels, but nationality. Why nationality is even important? Why would Noble Drew Ali establish an organization to determine the nationality of so-called Black, colored, Negro, and Ethiopian people? Okay, nationality is what connects you to a government. And without nationality, you are politically unrecognized, unprotected, and subject to whatever system claims you. Okay, that's basic law and political structure. So if you don't understand nationality, you don't understand government. And if you don't understand government, you don't understand what Noble Drew Ali did. Okay, so every nationality requires allegiance to a government, not a belief system, an actual structured body with authority. Nationality is not a skin color. It's not about the culture. It is definitely not about what somebody checked on a paperwork or a form. Nationality is your political and legal identity tied to a governing body. So when someone asks, what's my nationality? What they really asking me is, what government am I connected to? And if you can't answer that question, then you're not dealing with nationality, you're dealing with some labels. Okay, so let's analyze this properly. And I know this might make some people uncomfortable. It's cool though. I come here to speak the truth. For centuries, people have been labeled as Black, colored, Negro, and all these other terms that were not nationalities. They were not nationalities. They were social classifications in the caste system. These are administrative labels. These are descriptions, not political identities. So if those are not nationalities, what are they? They are categories used by governments to classify people who do not have a defined nationality within that system. And it's crazy because now this argument is being brought to the Supreme Court about the 14th Amendment. Okay, so now that's this where people don't want to deal with. If you are classified but not nationally identified, then you are being governed without political identity. That means you don't have a defined national allegiance. You don't have a recognized political status. You are subject to whatever system they place you under. You are identified administratively, pardon self, not nationally. So ask yourself this: why would Noble Drew Ali come and specifically say he is here to teach nationality? Because he understood something that most people still don't understand. To this day, 2026, people still don't understand Noble Drew Ali. So I'm here to set the record straight. As the Grand Sheik and Governor, as an trained adept of the Moorish Science Temple, I know the Constitution by heart. I can close my eyes right now and recite the entire divine Constitution and bylaws. So let's make it clear. Every person on this earth that is recognized in law is recognized through nationality, allegiance, and government. So when Noble Drew Ali proclaimed his organization, he didn't just create a religion for people to gather and feel good. He established a body to correct a lack of nationality. He came to fix a political condition, not just a spiritual condition, but a political condition. So when he says he's here to determine the nationality of the so-called black, colored, Negro, and Ethiopian people, what he was saying was these people have been labeled, but they have not been properly identified within the national framework. So what did he do? What did Noble Drew Ali do? He established a constitution. A constitution. Okay? He didn't establish just a spiritual ceremony for us. He actually established something that we can use politically, and that's the Constitution. He also established a structured body. The grand body of the Moorish Science Temple is a structured body. Now, I'm not saying that we might be operating correctly. I'm not here to defend the temple on that. I'm not saying we operating correctly. I'm not saying we probably ever operated correctly since the assassination of Noble Drew Ali. But I'm here to tell you what the foundation was started as, according to its own constitution, not my interpretation. Okay? Noble Drew Ali also established offices and leadership. He established membership. He established a system of identification with nationality cards. He established a national destination when he coined the term Moorish American. Right? He didn't start the term, but he definitely coined the term as a political destination. Why? Because nationality requires structure. You can't just wake up and say, this is my nationality, and have no government, no structure, no body, no system behind it. That's not how law works. That's not how governments work. Nationality requires recognition, structure, allegiance, organization. So when Noble Drew Ali established the temple, he wasn't establishing a building with a place to worship. He was establishing a body capable of identifying, organizing, and structuring the people under a national identity. Okay, so let's get this straight. You say you have a nationality, but don't want to be connected to a government. You say you're a nation, but don't want structure. You say you have an identity, but reject the system that defines it. So what nationality do you think, so what exactly do you think nationality is, I should say? Because it's not a hashtag, it's not a vibe, it's not something you can just say that sounds good. Nationality is political, and politics requires government. So when people try to separate nationality from government, what they're really doing is removing the very thing that makes nationality valid in the first place. So why would Noble Drew Ali proclaim his organization to determine nationality? Because the people were misclassified, they were labeled without political identity, they were governed without national standing, they lacked a defined allegiance, they lacked structure to a nationality. Not just spirituality, but politically and structurally. Okay? So nationality without government is incomplete. Government without structure is ineffective. And structure without constitution is invalid. So when Noble Drew Ali brought nationality, he also brought structure. When he brought structure, he brought government. And when he brought government, he brought a system for people to be properly identified. So the real question is, why did he do it? That shouldn't even be a question. The real question should be, why are people still trying to separate nationality from the very structure that makes it real? Because at the end of the day, if you don't know your nationality, you don't know your political identity. If you don't know your political identity, you don't know your government. And if you don't know your government, you don't know your position in law. Okay? So let's break it down, because the topic is religion and government. So I want to go and give some examples of different political governments and religious governments, if I can. Pull it up. I had a list ready. Okay, so pardon, so let's talk about religious governments versus political governments. So a political government derives its authority from the people, right? That's a republic. A religious government derives its authority from God, Allah, or some type of doctrine. Okay, political governments derive their authority from the people. All right, that's a republic. Political governments also have a constitution. Religious governments have a constitution and religious law. Political governments have a president or a king. A religious government has a prophet, a leader, grand sheik, or pope. Political governments have Congress. Religious government has a council, elders, or ministers. Political governments have courts. Religious government have religious courts. Political governments have citizens. Religious governments have members. Political governments have laws. Religious governments have religious law and bylaws. Political governments have a territory. Religious government has a membership in a jurisdiction. A political government has taxes. Religious government has dues and donations. A political government has a military. A religious government has security. Some religious governments have governments as well. You could talk about the Jesuits. The Jesuits, we could talk about Knights Templars, religious orders who have governments, right? I did my homework. I came with some homework today. I'm ready for all the smoke. We can argue, whatever. I'm ready. I got the Iran Constitution. So let's break down Iran, because we know Iran, United States are in the so-called proxy war, whatever you want to call that. So Iran and Israel are both religious governments. Israel is a religious government. Iran is a religious government. Okay, Iran, Islamic law is supreme. And Iran, God is sovereign. United States, the republic, the people are sovereign. The Constitution is supreme law of the land. United States, the president is the highest executive. Iran, the supreme leader is the highest. United States, Congress make laws, and Iran, parliament makes laws, but the clergy has to approve it. So they have to get clergy approval. United States have a Supreme Court. Iran has a guardian council. United States have separation of church and state. Iran, religion controls the state. United States used the common law. Iran used religious law. Okay, so Israel, you got Israel, which is a religious government. You got Iran, is a modern day religious government. And we can even go back to the ancient Moorish governments, the Ottoman government. The Ottoman government was a religious government. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's break this down. Let's break it down. Let's talk about the Vatican. Let's talk about the Vatican, because I got receipts of religious governments. The Vatican City actually still is a country today. Okay, for over 1,000 years, over 1,000 years, the Pope ruled Italy as a king from 750 AD to 1870. To 1870, over 1,000 years, the Pope was the king of Italy. They had government, courts, army, taxes, land, diplomats, laws, a banking system. The Pope was both a religious leader and a political ruler. All right. This is one of the longest running religious governments in history. It's the Vatican. And let's make note that the Vatican started after the Moorish Science Temple was established. There was no Vatican before the Moorish Science Temple of America. Let's talk about another organization, the Jesuits. They was founded in 1540. Official name is Society of Jesus. The Jesuits were extremely powerful because they control education, universities, advisors to kings, mission territories, intelligence networks, banking and trade in some regions. They influence governments in Spain, Portugal, France, South America, Philippines, China. Okay, so a lot of people don't know the Jesuits the leader of the Jesuits called the Black Pope. The Black Pope. He's the general of the Jesuits. Let's talk about the Knights Templar. Okay. The Knights Templar was a Catholic military religious order founded in 1119 AD. Their headquarters were Jerusalem, France, and Portugal. While they were like a government, they had their own army, their own land in many countries. They created one of the first banking systems. They answered only to the Pope, not kings. They could collect money and taxes, and they could issue letters of credit. Many historians say the Knights Templars were the first international banking network. Okay, they were later shut down by the King of France because they became too powerful and wealthy. Now, when you look at corporations in America, America has been colonized by corporations. The reason why people call themselves Indian to this day is because of the Dutch masters from Switzerland. The Dutch masters created the East Indian Company and they created the West Indian Company, which were both corporations that operated over there in India, what you call Hindustania, and they operated here in America. And it was a corporation with government powers. Okay. So historically, you have Moorish governments that was Islamic. When we ruled Europe, we ruled under Khalifa dynasties. A Khalifa is a religious leader. But the Khalifa was the head of the empires. Okay, so you had a numerous of Islamic religious empires that ruled Europe. Okay, you had the Umayyad Caliphate, the Fatimid, the Almorid, excuse my pronunciations. But all these were Caliphate empires. These was religious empires. And that's just on the Islamic side. Now on the Christian side, they also had religious governments. They had the papal states. They had the Holy Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, the Knights Templar state, and the Spanish Catholic monarchy. Also, we can go to the Jewish religions. The Jewish religion governments, they had ancient Israel, the kingdom of ancient Israel. The Buddhists even had religious governments. Tibet, they had the Buddhist monarchy. Okay, so when religion runs the government, it's called theocracy. Theocracy is what this is called. A theocracy is a government ruled by religious authority. Examples: Iran, Islamic theocracy. The Vatican, a Catholic theocracy. Tibet was a Buddhist theocracy. The Ottoman Empire was an Islamic caliphate. Okay. Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Because I hear a lot of people saying, the argument, which is, I understand where they get this information because it's regurgitated. But you have to go to the constitution of any organization to define the structure and the function of that organization. And we have a divine constitution and bylaws in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Matter of fact, let me read a couple of those acts so we can talk about it. Let's define those acts. Let's break this down. We can start with Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's not religious. That's political. Let's skip down. Let's go to Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government. Because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live life accordingly. That's not religious, that's political. Act 5 says it again. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution. The laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Now, there's a lot of confusion about what the said government is. So you have to go to basic grammar, because I hear a lot of people interjecting that when it says said government, it's saying that the said government is the United States of America. That's incompetent. That's very incompetent, because for the Moorish Science Temple of America to be subject to the United States of America, it has to be written in the Constitution. It has to be written in the Constitution that we are subject to the United States of America, just like every state constitution. If you go in your state constitution right now, in the preamble, it's going to say that they are subject to the United States of America Constitution. It's love. We got some comments. Says the Prophet Grand Sheikh, Chairman Grand Body said governments, Islam. Let's talk about Act 6. Now, Act 6, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality in their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government. Notice he said this said government. So that clears up any arguments one might have that Noble Drew Ali was referencing United States of America government. It's nowhere written in the divine constitution and bylaws of the Moorish Science Temple of America the words United States of America. It's nowhere in here. Okay? So let's talk about it. Because the problem is that we got Moors outside and inside the temple who can contribute to running the government. But it seems that ones don't understand that this is a government for us to operate. And that goes for inside the temple and outside the temple. Inside the temple, the leaderships, they need to learn government and political structure. If they don't know government and political structure, you're not fit for leadership, inside or outside the temple. If you don't know nationality goes with allegiance to government, you're incompetent. You're incompetent. Let's go to Black's Law Dictionary. Where's my Black's Law, beloved? Here we go. I see it. I got it. Let's go to Black's Law Dictionary. Let's define the term nationality. This first edition, 1891, first edition. Let's define the term nationality. Because I hear Moorish say all the time, oh, I got a nationality. Well, what government do you have allegiance to? If you have a nationality, what government do you have allegiance to? Let's look up the term nationality. Nationality, that quality of character which arises from the fact of a person's belonging to a nation or state. So it has to have allegiance to a nation or a state to even have nationality. Nationality determines the political status of an individual, especially with reference to allegiance, while domicile determines his civil status. So when we talk about a status correction, nationality proclamation is the only status correction, because nationality determines your political status and domicile determines your civil status, which is jurisdiction. Domicile means jurisdiction, authority. And we derive our authority from where? From our law. Nationality arises either by birth or naturalization. And I'm reading out of Black's Law Dictionary, first edition. According to Savigny, nationality is also used as opposed to territorially for the purpose of distinguishing the case of a nation having no national territory, e.g. the Jews. So the Jews have no national territory, but they have a government and they have an allegiance to that government, even though they don't have a defined territory, is what this Black's Law Dictionary is saying. So the true status correction is proclaiming your nationality, and proclaiming your nationality is determining your allegiance. Now let's look up the term national government. National government, the government of a whole nation, as distinguished from that of a local or territorial division of the nation, and also as distinguished from that of a league or confederation. A national government is a government of the people of a single state or nation, united as a community by what is termed the social compact, and possessing complete and perfect supremacy over persons and things, so far as they can be made the lawful objects of a civil government. A federal government is distinguished from a national government by its being the government of a community of independent and sovereign states united by compact. So the Moorish Science Temple falls under the category of a national government, which is distinguished from a federal government. Because a federal government, according to Black's Law Dictionary, is a government of a community of independent sovereign states united by compact, while national government is the government of a single state or nation united as a community. Okay, so you got to know the difference of sovereign states and a nation. What we have is a nation. That's why we must proclaim our nationality to that nation. This is the importance of Noble Drew Ali. Noble Drew Ali came on these shores to establish something that was lost. And what was lost is our nationality. He couldn't establish nationality without a government. It don't work. It would have been flawed from inception. All right. Now let's read. I got receipts on this all day. Let's go to House Resolution 0689. Let's talk about that. HR 0689 made in the state of Illinois. House resolution. So we can resolve, because a resolution resolves a problem. And the problem is we don't know our national identity. We don't know what the Moorish Science Temple was formed as. Hold on, let me go back. ETC. What was that I just clicked on? So let's read this. Am I able to screen share on here? Yeah, I can screen share. Let me screen share if I can. Let's read this straight from the European government. House Resolution 0689. Wait, this is not it. No, that's not it. That's definitely not it. No, it's wrong resolution. Pardon yourself. That's the wrong resolution right there. All right, here we go right here. Okay, this is right out the website. Let me see. I'm gonna share my screen again because I don't know if it's shared that one. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, let's read this. House Resolution HR 0689. Whereas the Moorish Americans, not Moors, but the Moorish Americans, because I hear a lot of that argument as well. Well, we not Moorish Americans, we just Moors. Okay. Whereas Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, Hamites, and Canaanites who were permitted by the old pharaohs of Kemet to traverse from East Africa and later form themselves kingdoms. Extending from the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa, the Atlantic islands, and until the present-day continental Americas. And whereas the indigenous Moorish peoples of the Americas are now united in order to again link themselves with the family of nations, and whereas the Moorish Americans, being aboriginal to the territories of North, Central, and South Americas, have formed, now listen to this, they have formed a sovereign theocratic government guided by the command principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Through virtue of the universal right to self-determination as well as with the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, guaranteed in the Charter. And whereas on January 8th, 1886, Noble Drew Ali was born in the state of North Carolina, destined to become the first patriot of his mentally enslaved Moorish American people. In 1912, he was anointed. See, a lot of people don't talk about his anointment. He was anointed as El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali by the leaders of Egypt in the holy city of Mecca to return to the United States. As the last prophet and founding father of the newly risen nation of Moorish Americans. As a result of the 13th Amendment, Moorish people were emancipated from slavery in 1865. Therefore, be it resolved, so we can resolve this issue, be it resolved by the House of Representatives, not by the Grand Sheik, but by the House of Representatives of the 97th General Assembly of the state of Illinois, that we designate the week of January 8th through the 15th, 2012 as Moorish American Week in the state of Illinois, and in the real text says and other purposes and for other purposes. So this has nothing to do with religion, even though it is a religion tied to the temple. It does not mean that the temple is set up as a religion. It was set up as a religious government. So we have to clear the air with that, because I just have to speak my piece, because there's a lot of misconfusion about religious governments. So I have to break it down in history about religious governments, how far they go back and how they are currently still being applied. Because when we hear the word religious corporation, we just automatically turn our brain off and say, well, the temple don't fit the category of a government because they're religious. And that's far from the truth. Because your ancestors, even the tribes were religious. Even the tribal governments were religious. We can go to the Iroquois Confederacy. Look at the Constitution. It was religious. The Iroquois Confederacy Constitution is called the Great Law of Peace. That's religious. Peace is religious, because peace means Islam. Islam means peace. That's all it means. Islam means peace. The Great Law of Islam. So Islam always existed, especially in America. Now, had the Ottoman Empire not lost, this whole world would have still been Islamic. It would have been Islamic. Would not happen in 1492 happen? Islam would have been the dominant religion. And it's still a very big religion all around the world. With the Islam that we practice in the Moorish Science Temple is not the typical Islam practiced by the Arabian cultures. We don't practice the Arabian culture. Our form of Islam is called Islamism. And that's the old time religion. That's the divine creed of your ancestors. That's the Moorish science. And science has many categories. You could talk about astrology, astronomy. We can go into theology. Science has a lot of different categories. So our religion is a scientific religion with a spiritual foundation. Islam. So I hope I drove that home today. What I would like to do, if we can, open up the floor for questions. Because I believe we said we was only going to go to 30 more minutes to 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central time. So I want to give an opportunity to address any questions. So send in your questions.
We got 10 minutes. We're gonna go quarter off.
Okay. Okay, we cutting it short. All right, let's take some questions. We got 10 more minutes. Let's take questions. I got Facebook going and I got YouTube at the same time. Okay, I'm gonna read some comments. BD Bay says church and state ? Church and state, yes, church and state. If you look at the Roman Catholic Empire, for example, Catholic makes it religious, but they were an empire. They were a Catholic empire. All right, so church and state has always been connected. We got another comment. Says by user, no name for real. It says, but we need our own muftis. I guess they're saying U.S. don't want to respect our government. Our ancestors, Moors, taught them 30 degrees in government. I can agree with that. I can agree, but what to say that we need our own muftis shows that you never visited the Moorish Science Temple. You never visited Moorish Science Temple. You said we need muftis because we have muftis in the Moorish Science Temple. Now, I cannot defend the Moorish Science Temple in its current operations that is operating correctly as a government. It is operating as a pure religious organization, but that's not what the Constitution defines. And my mission is to restore what the original Moorish Science Temple of America. Let's read some more comments. It says, BD Bay says, said name or mentioned before. Come on, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, BD Bay. Said, the word said means named or mentioned before. So in a divine constitution, when it says said government, it's not talking about the United States of America. If you think that, you are highly incompetent and not fit to teach. Not fit to teach. If you define the word said, when it says said government in the divine constitution and bylaws, you are not fit to teach. Said means mentioned before. It's nowhere in the divine constitution and bylaws where it mentions United States of America. Nowhere. And even in the Quran, Noble Drew Ali, chapter 48, the last chapter, he said he gave the order to never to amalgamate with any European pale nations. That's chapter 48. You're not allowed to amalgamate. That means join in. That means combine. So our organization is not allowed to combine with the United States because that's a European government. That's a European government. BD Bay says, we have a nationality and a consanguinity aspect because we are a large group of people with common ancestry and language. Consanguinity, that's the right of blood. We got the right of blood and the right of soil. We have both. We got consanguinity and we have the right of land as well, right of soil. Just Soleil. We have the right of soil and just sanguine, the right of blood. Clovis says, Antoine, I seen you getting dragged out of your car after telling the police you was the king of demonia. You never seen that. You never seen me get dragged out the car. Kasaya says, Islam, clear up the confusion. I'm gonna clear it up. That's why they call the Grand Sheik and Governor, because they know I'm gonna clear it up. That's why they got me on this platform right now, so we can clear up the confusion. BD Bay says, now you cooking, bro. User DC says, if Moorish American has been sabotaged and I believe copywritten, is it possible to retire our nationality as Moroccan American? No disrespect to our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, change is inevitable. You cannot copyright a nationality. You cannot copyright a nationality. Copyright is for performed works, music, art, stage names, things done for business. We don't see the Prophet Noble Drew Ali did not make any mistakes. And what he done cannot be undone. It cannot be undone. If somebody is still, since it's 2026, no leaders today on the internet or anywhere else has ever done the things Noble Drew Ali. They still haven't accomplished any of the things he have done. I haven't even seen nobody even form an organization together. Nobody even has an organization together, let alone a constitution to their organization, let alone have 9 million members in their organization, let alone have their organization operate for over 100 years. Nobody, no Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, nobody is ever able to do this outside the Nation of Islam. And the Nation of Islam copied from where? The Moorish Science Temple. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's read some more comments. The Bay say Islam. BD Bay says we definitely need a part 2 to this. We definitely need a part 2. I agree. We need a part 2 to this. We need to go in some more. We need to talk about this even more, because the Moorish Science Temple is an organization that we supposed to have in every city, every state, to function as consulates for the people. But we got too many incompetent Moors that don't understand the power of the organization, the constitution we have. So if y'all want, more of this, join my Sunday school. It's free to join. Brother Abdullah Bey teaches second Sundays there as well. Join the organization. Reach out to me, Antoine Davis Bey, on Facebook. Reach out to me on Instagram, faithful member Antoine Davis Bey. And hit me up. All you gotta do is fill out a simple application and you can join our organization. Sunday school, every Sunday, 10 a.m., 4 hours. Every Sunday. And I'm dropping new music, Moorish music to motivate the nation. Marcus Garvey said that anything we do artistic, we need to do it to empower the nation. The nation, we need rappers, we need poets for the nation, we need artists, we need models for the nation. We need to make the nation the culture. We need to bring the culture to our nationality. We don't need no Arabian culture. We have our own culture in North America. Everybody follow us from North America. Everybody around the world copy us. The Vatican copied the Moorish Science Temple. Everybody copy us. So let's be leaders. Let's lead the people. Let's show them something different. Let's organize. Let's unite. Let's stop fighting with each other. You understand? That's and I'm talking to all nations, whether you in a street organization, if you want to GDs, BDs, Blackstones, Lords, we need all members to come together in unity. See, I'm from Chicago, so I can speak on this. I can go to these places with my fez on, and I can talk nationality, and I can get respect. Everybody can't do that. Everybody can't go to the trenches and bring the temple there. Everybody is not welcome there. Everybody don't fit in. Everybody don't talk the same language. But I do. I come from the trenches. I come straight from Stateville Penitentiary, man. When I came out 2013, YouTube was big. I've been studying ever since. We're in 2026 now. So let's come together.
All right, we got.
You said that's time?
We have 1 minute here.
Okay, thank you, Abdullah Bey. Thank you for having me.
So he's frozen up. We have
Mondays,
1 minute left. 1 minute.
Okay,
1 minute.
Thank you for having me, man. I expect to go a little longer, but it's cool. It's good. I know we had a late start. We had a little technical difficulties in the audio. We cutting a little short still, but it's cool. It's all well. I hope I got that message out. Also, give me if I can get a copy of this recording so I can send it out.
It's available. It's the link.
No,
it's the YouTube link.
I want to stream it from my webpage, not from your channel. I want to stream it on my own channel.
I can't. All I can do is send you the YouTube link. I can't do any more than that.
You can.
I can only send you the YouTube link.
Okay. All right. Don't worry. I know how to get it. Don't worry about it. I know how to get it.
All right.
Don't worry about it. All right.
All right, my brothers and sisters. Thank y'all for joining us. All right. We have Ross Mavaya, RB Bay, Ross Mavaya from RBBayPublications.com next week.
All
right, she'll be joining us, giving us an astrology lesson. All right, so until next week with Ross Mavaya Bay. Peace, everyone. Thank you, brother. Peace.
It's love, Facebook. See y'all next time. I'm going live. Be looking for me going, what's today? Monday. I'm going to go live again Wednesday, 7 p.m. We're going live in there. We need a part 2 to this. We got to keep talking about it. The people ain't seen me in a minute. I'm back. I'm back in action. I'm ruffling feathers. Y'all seeing them hate on me. Y'all see all the hate is real. The hate is real. It's real. You can see it. You can cut the tension with a knife. You got grand sheiks against me, slandering me. So I'm back out, popping back out. I'm back outside. They want me. I was trying to be put up, but they want me back outside. They want me to talk my talk. So I'm back. I'm back. Now, whoever want to battle, let's battle. Let's have a versus. Let's go receipt for receipt. I can go receipt for receipt with anybody, any of your internet teachers, your grand sheiks, governors, supreme grand sheiks, whoever. Bring them. I'm going to knock them down. It's time for the new Moors to sit these old Moors to the back. And I'm not talking about age. I'm talking about old way of thinking. If you still stuck in that old way of thinking, it's time for the new thinkers to come in and seat y'all in the back. And that's no disrespect. It's not kicking you out the temple. Just have a seat. Just have a seat. Let us be the front line. Your feet hurt. Y'all tired of marching and y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all tired of standing on the front line. It's time for us to be on the front line. As long I represent the new Moors, the new thinkers. I represent Noble Drew Ali and his prophecies. When he said,